What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And of course, it's the start of a brand new month, so we're here with a tier list video. What you're seeing right now on screen is last month's tier list, the exact same listing as it once was. We actually have some new characters, of course. We need to add all of the final tab legends, Ace and Sabo, 6+ Komurasaki, Whitebeard versus Shanks, and also Marco. Now, do note that I have not added the additional icons for both Whitebeard and Shanks. That was an incorrect thing on my part. I will update it for the next list, but the thing is I only realized it after I put all the icons back in their right positions, and it takes too much effort to change it from now on. But just know that starting from next month, that will be 2 individual characters. I think both of them are fantastic, and we'll get to that in this video. But of course, before we actually jump into adding those new characters, we need to go ahead and show you guys, or just tell you guys, what the criteria is for my personal tier list, okay? So first of all, the power of the unit. How much damage potential do they actually have? What is the speed of the character? How fast can they actually get through the content as well? How reliable are they as a captain? Ideally as a captain, obviously. And then what is their clear rate as a captain? Is there content out there that they literally cannot beat? And there are some characters that have something like that. And also, what's their usability or their versatility like? Can they be injected into teams where they're not even boosted to give that team a big boost to help them clear the content? And there are characters that definitely benefit from things like that, okay? So those are my criterias, of course, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Now, honestly, at the moment, none of these characters down here really changed anything for me at the moment, leaving tier 5 as it is. Tier 4, let's see here. All of these characters look pretty reasonable to me. This is where Komurasaki was, by the way. Komurasaki was around this tier right here. I think it was actually next to Pudding. So, do I really want to move Komurasaki up? Honestly, I don't think Komurasaki 6+ made her any better. I guess slightly in a way, but not by much. I'd say it's probably around the same tier as where she was previously. The multipliers did slightly increase, but it's not anything game-changing, and you're not going to be using her too much for content unless if you're a huge fan of Komurasaki herself. I did use Nami Robin for this Kizuna, was a very valuable character to have as well. Hawkins, I also use Big Mom for one of my teams in the Kizuna, pretty nice unit of course. V2 Shanks is still a really solid sub, not a big fan of Blackbeard really. I think all of these units seem pretty fair at the moment. In tier 3, like, there's not really much that needs to be changed. Oh, but we've got Katakuri, dude. Katakuri, dude, he put in so much work this month during this Kizuna clash. As of me recording this video, there's still 1 day left in the Kizuna, hoping our alliance is able to reach those top ranks. But yeah, he put in so much work this month. And also, I mean, shout out to Brook, wherever he is. Shout out to Legend Brook. He also put in a crap load of work throughout this event as well. I cannot even see him. There he is right here. Okay, so Brook. Shout out to Brook. Put in a lot of work this month as well, so shout out to him. Carrot, Chopper. I mean, Chopper kind of lost a little bit of value considering how much cotton candy we actually earned throughout this event period. Crazy. Sanji Judge. Sabo is pretty bleh. You got Whitebeard, who's solid. You got Capone. You got the Nami, Cracker, Arlong. Yeah, I mean, like, none of this really needs to be changed. Tier 2 seems pretty reasonable so far. Like, honestly, there isn't really too much I want to change at the moment, but there is going to be a massive change to this tier list. And what it is we're going to be adding an additional tier. We are adding a brand new tier to this list, just top 5. We're going to have the top 5 best units in the game, in my personal opinion, for that current month, okay? And I do have a list currently right here as to what I want to put in that top 5. And it is kind of, it may seem a little bit different from what you guys were expecting, but I think a lot of people may agree. But I guess let's just start with the top 5. Who do I think the top 5 best units are in the game? Now, of course, we are going to be adding some of the other characters around this area, so definitely be on the lookout. Now, I don't think it's any surprise that I think Roger is the best legend in the game. I just think he's by far and away the best. Rainbow Captain, full board matching slot, super type, uninterruptible, gets rid of block orbs, gives you orb block as well, 3 times attack boost, can remove despair completely, has the ability to resist the blowaway of your buffs. It's just an immensely powerful character. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon from the top 5. Number 2, though, is going to be versus Akainu. I think a lot of people already understand how good this character actually is. The only real drawback to this unit, honestly, is his stalling. Having to stall with this guy is kind of difficult, especially if you have to take hits, because the enemy just dies too quickly. It's pretty funny how it's built that way. But Akainu, though, immensely powerful unit. Absolutely loving him so far. And is there another character? Yes. Okay, so we will be adding some other new characters to this tier, but there is one other character that is currently here that is also going to go in the top 5, and I don't think a lot of you guys would have guessed this one, but I think Legend Moria is a top 5 best legend in the game. Now, I don't think he's the 3rd best legend in the game, but I think he is in the top 5, very, very much just close into that top 5. I think everything about this unit is fantastic. Literally, the only bad thing about Legend Moria is he doesn't get rid of block orbs with his special or super type. That's legit the only bad thing about him. Everything else is incredible. Huge boost. Great super type, amazing special ability, and if you guys disagree with Moria being top 5, I mean, that's fine. It's obviously my opinionated list, but he's fantastic, and you cannot say he's a bad legend. It's crazy how Moria got literally one of the best legends in the game. He is so freaking good, amazing support as well, good in PvP, he's good like everywhere, right? And he boosts 2 of the best classes in the game, being driven in Powerhouse, works very well with the Kano, of course. So yeah, I do think Moria deserves to be in the top 5 best legends in the game. Currently on global, but of course that's probably going to change relatively soon. Now in terms for tier 0, I still want to keep 5 other legends in here that are like just outside of the top 5. So as for characters that are going to be staying in this, we're going to be having these 3 in here as well. And I am also going to put Versus Ace in the tier 0. Obviously, with the latest release of some of the characters that have just come out this month, it makes Free Spirit a lot better, and also makes Shooter a lot better as well. Partners up very well with this guy, and Hybrid can very well with Versus Ace. So I think Versus Ace definitely deserves to be in the upper echelons of tier 0. Not quite top 5, but an extremely powerful unit. Now, as for the rest, everything here is pretty much the same. Do I want to change any orders of any characters here? I think Super Type Kaido is still freaking amazing. V2 Shirahoshi Manshiri and V1 Vivi Rebecca, these 2 characters are gods. Luffy Sanji did use him a little bit this month, not too terrible. Sanji Pudding still pretty solid. Like, I mean, I did pull Bonnie this month, which was really great. I've used her a little bit. I still need to make a full video showcase and GARP challenges and all that kind of thing with her. I will be doing that at some point. Just got to find time to do it. Same with 6+ Komurasaki. I want to make some content with her as well. But Bonnie, she's a really good unit. Sugar's fantastic. The thing is, though, is like there's a lot of int super types in the game, obviously. I think Mori is the best of the int super types, but you got like Law and Mihawk here as well, and it's like, where would I put them around there? Like, would I put Bonnie in the same tier as them? Would I rank her above? Is she below? I'm not really too sure. Let me think about that one, because the thing is, Law has that really cool reflect damage effect. That's incredible. Plus he removes Despair, and then you got Mihawk who removes Paralysis, but then you got Bonnie who has a lot of unique effects with her. I feel like Bonnie as a crewmate, as a sub, is definitely more viable as a captain. Her captain ability is okay. If you're up against mono-side content, Bonnie is just the nuts, and probably at that point, if you're versing mono side content, yeah, she probably is the captain you want to use. But if you're going to be versing a variety of different mob characters with different typings, then using Law or Mihawk may be a bit of a better option. Also, you know, all these 3 characters have really annoying super type conditions. You need to have very specific units as crewmates in order to proc the super types. But of course, Law and Mihawk can hybrid very well together and also get additional utility because of that as well. I think this is relatively fair. Maybe Mihawk slightly higher because his captain effect, in my opinion, is a little bit better. But as I said, against mono side content, I definitely think Bonnie might be the best one there. And I will rank Sugar a little bit higher. Actually, you know what? Sugar's probably like here, honestly. Like, Sugar's very high. I think Sugar's an incredible unit, dude. Just using her in the Kizuna just to get more damage for free. She bypasses barriers with her toys. Like, she's awesome. I mean, you can use her as a captain. I'm not a big fan of her as a captain, but you can. And of course, as a captain, she's fine. But you know, those toy soldiers are pretty broken characters. But in terms of manipulating where I want to put all the other characters on this list, I think this is pretty fair for where I want to put them right now. And speaking of int super types, I just realized it right now. There's another int super type character we need to talk about, which is going to be Marco. We'll get to him in just a moment. I think Sober Mask, I really want to put down. I just don't think he deserves to be up here. I mean, his captain effect is very bad in my opinion. Though as a crewmate, he's like one of those really good offensively based crewmates, allowing you to generate a full board of matching slots and an attack boost for multiple different stages, or get a 2.5 attack boost. Like a 2.5 attack boost Rainbow and a full board of matching slots is nothing to scoff at. That's a pretty good special ability. He's a Sanji unit, so he does get access to a couple good supports as well. Unfortunately, PvP, he's terrible, so that's a thing. But I guess Sanji can stay here for now. I mean, he's definitely like a more desirable sub than some of the other units here. You know, a lot of people don't like Vivi Rekka V2 being as low as she is, but I mean, she's a 2x attack and orb booster, and while that's good if you have a lack of amount of specials that you can use, the fact is it's a 2x attack and orb boost, which is not that good in today's day and age. If this was a 2.25 attack and orb boost, would be definitely ranking her a lot higher, that is for sure. But Unfortunately, I don't think she deserves to be much higher. Good switch effect, which is one of the reasons why I still use this character. Not a big fan of her captain ability either. But, you know, got some of these older tier characters. Luffy Law still see some play. Good under Quick and Dex super type captains, of course. And you've got the Sabo and Koala, who had that really unique effect to remove the non-beneficial slots, which is like, really unique for the character and why they are ranked still in this position. And then you've also got the Rumble Enel, who's going to be very, very good moving into this next month because Germa 6+ should be arriving, meaning the combination with Enel and Germa 6+ is crazy. I mean, you got so many good side characters in the game that that's going to definitely see a lot more play with Boa, of course. You know, so many good side characters. But I guess without further ado, let's start adding some of these new characters that I'm sure all of you guys are excited to see. Let's start with Final Tap Luffy. Now, with Final Tap Luffy, I am not going to be ranking him as high as what people think. I think Final Tap Luffy is the top of tier 1. Now, I have some other characters that we need to bring into this list as well, which we'll talk about a bit later, but Luffy's very good. The one thing I don't like about Luffy, I kind of talked about it in his showcase video, is that he doesn't generate his own matching slots. You know, you kind of have to rely on RNG or rely on other special abilities to give you beneficial slots, which is not always a good thing. And the fact that his special is relatively self-centered, while yes, he does provide an attack boost to all the characters that he boosts as a captain, Quick, Free Spirit, and Fighter, the base attack boost for himself is fine, I guess. You know, it makes Luffy hit even harder, of course. His final tap stacked on top of that, of course. But, you know, I would rather use a lot of other Free Spirit captains over him. I mean, in a lot of cases, Kaido would be another quick unit I would prefer to use over him, just depending on the situation. But you can't disregard how Luffy is, how good he is, because he's another Free Spirit unit, works very well with versus Ace, works well with Ace and Sabo, which we'll talk about in a moment as well. Ace, this new Luffy is a very good unit, don't get me wrong. He's another Luffy unit, of course, so great supports. But of course, there's inevitably going to be a better Luffy sometime down the road. So, you know, the next Luffy legend probably will be one of the best units in the game. I don't think Luffy is a bad character, but I do think that I would prefer to use some of these other characters, especially as a captain, over Luffy. So the next one is going to be Final Tap Law. Now, Final Tap Law is going to be a high unit. I think Final Tap Law is the best of the three of the brand new characters. He's going to be in tier 0, the top of tier 0. Not quite top 5, maybe not yet, but he's pretty goddamn close. You know, he boosts Dex, which is objectively the worst color in the game, but he does boost Slasher and Cerebral, which are both phenomenal classes. Definitely helps him out that he has those. His final tap is fantastic, of course, if you're able to activate it. His special ability is fantastic, 2.75 times attack to Dex, Slasher, Cerebral, applying 1.5 times increased damage taken that bypasses immunity buffs, is incredibly strong. And this is the type of unit that you could inject on any team just to give them an extra bit of bonus damage. Despite the fact that they may have an immunity buff, you're still able to activate that. He's a lore character as well, so you get access to great supports. He's good defensively in PvP. There's lots about lore that's great, and I think that he easily is deserving of tier 0. I mean, in a lot of people's opinion, you could say Luffy is deserving of top 5 or tier 0. Not in my opinion, but I think he's pretty close to that at least. And I think lore is definitely the best of the 3 deserving of the tier 0 position, for sure. The final of the final tap characters is going to be Kid. Now with Kid, I think he's very similar to Luffy in terms of his positioning. I'm going to rank Luffy a little bit higher because I think he has really good synergy with some of the other better units in the game. But don't disregard Kid. I have used him quite a lot, and I really do. Actually, you know what? Nah, I gotta rank Kid above Luffy, I gotta say. I mean, Kid at least generates a full border matching slots for himself. Yeah, this is for sure. Kid is definitely much better than Luffy. Well, I wouldn't say much better, but he is a better unit, I feel. Luffy is just an all-round solid unit, but I feel like the ceiling of Kid is just better. Just the fact that you can cheese content with those really cool teams that you can build with him. Boosting Striker and Driven. Driven particularly is pretty great. Strength are a great color too, so you've got that synergy going on there. His captain ability is pretty interesting, you know, reducing his own cooldown. If you're below 50%, which is easy to do, you can get that damage reduction, which is nice. And, you know, just the synergy with all the other great characters in the game. I mean, Shirahoshi Mancherry V2 plus Kid is one of the best combos you can have. Like the overhealing, the utility, and then all of the buffs that you get from Kid. Bro, like this combo is just disgusting. Unfortunately, this combo does not get rid of block orb still, so you still need to find a way to get around those, but not really too much of a big problem anyways. I think Kid is a great unit, hybrids well with a lot of great units, man. Like, you don't even need double Kid for content a lot of the time. You can run Kid plus Akainu or Kid plus Moria if you wanted to do that as well. Like, there's really good synergies going on there. Kid's great. I don't think he's top 5 because I do think some of these other units are just really good captains and really good subs as well. But Kid is pretty close to top 5. Okay, so now we talk about Ace and Sabo, the Kizuna legend, and I think Ace and Sabo are one of the top 5 best units in the game. without surprise to anyone. I've talked about it extensively in their videos. This unit's just nuts in a lot of different ways. The fact that you can have amazing utility of resisting Despair and Special Bind. They grant a couple of matching slots. They have a health boost. They have recovery every time you hit a perfect. Like, their captain ability alone is almost perfect. It's almost a flawless captain effect. The only real drawback of this unit is that it's a dual unit, so you don't really get those high multipliers all the time. You're only getting it during your major burst turns. They're swap. The first legend was super swap, granting 1.5 affinity, adjacent slots matching, and then super swap, full board of matching slots, plus 2.25 times color affinity, and it's uninterruptible. Nuts, right? Special ability gets rid of block, bind, despair, special bind, 2.5 orb boost to free spirit and shooter characters, which is arguably the worst part of this unit. The fact that everything about the unit is a rainbow kit, but then his special ability is for free spirit and shooters. That's like the only bad thing about it. But aside from that, this unit's great. You know, I love it. You know, in terms of these dual units, like, it's like the same kind of thing as Shank's crew. Shank's crew probably has better usability as a sub because, you know, obviously this unit as a sub, you know, provides a really good utility, which is nice. But unfortunately, their orb boost, you know, only for 2 separate classes means that Shank's probably would be the more desirable unit to use as a sub, considering that their switch effect provides the attack boost, which is kind of nice to have every single turn. But it's also the fact that their special provides that chain lock for 3 turns, which a lot of teams can abuse a chain lock rather than a free spirit and shooter orb boost, you know what I mean? But it's the fact that their captain abilities are so much better than what Shank's crew is. It's basically like a buffed Shank's crew captain effect. Their switch effect is basically an alternate Shank's crew, and the special abilities, I probably think Shank's special is a bit better, but because of captain effect and the switch effect being arguably better, I think that they deserve to be in the next tier above Shank's crew, in my opinion. Not saying Shank's crew is bad. I'm not saying any of these characters are bad. I just think these characters are slightly above them in terms of their usability and content. So now we've got Whitebeard versus Shanks. Now for Whitebeard versus Shanks, interestingly enough, of course, we've only got one of their icons, but I am going to be putting them also in top 5. In terms of which one I would put in like the top 5, I really have to think about that one, but I just think in general, if you take the unit as a whole, yeah, they're definitely top 5. I don't know which one is probably the better one. I think Shanks is probably the better one. He boosts Psi, Int, and Slashes, whereas Whitebeard is Psi, Int, and Striker. You can have the partner of Kid with the Whitebeard side of things. Slasher, obviously, you got access to Roger. Great synergy, plus Shanks procs the super type of Roger. You've got Law, can use with Slashes as well. Pretty good synergy. You've got this guy as well. The Mori can partner well with the Whitebeard. You've got the Big Mom and stuff, so that works pretty well. There's lots of good things going on here with Whitebeard versus Shanks. Their special ability is pretty cracked. The fact that you get that 1000 base attack boost and then either orb boost or the attack boost, depending on what unit you're using. Both are relatively good defensively in PvP as well. Whitebeard versus Shanks, a lot of people underrate them. You know, they look at it, they see the kit, it's kind of boring, it doesn't do a lot, but when you think about it and you actually use the character in content, you do realize that this character is incredibly busted. And I think that a lot of people will be realizing that as time progresses, as they get access to this character. And yeah, I do kind of think they are better than the Kaido and Big Mom versus dual units. I feel like they get better hybrids and more synergy with some of the other better units in the game. And that's why I kind of rank them slightly ahead of the Kaido versus Big Mom currently. And then the final unit that we need to add to this tier list is going to be the brand new V2 Marco. Now, unfortunately for Marco fans out there, he is not going to be a very high character in this tier list. Now, in terms of where I want to rank him, he does have some unique abilities, and you do have to keep that in mind. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of his captain effect. I think his captain effect is pretty bad, but because of the uniqueness of his special ability, I kind of want to put him around the Odin tier, like around this tier here. I mean, I don't own him, so it's hard for me to determine right now as to like how good he actually is in content. So for right now, I'm going to tentatively place him here, but of course, as the months progress, he may be buffed up from here. Definitely Whitebeard versus Shanks is the more desirable unit to be pulling on the Sugo Fest comparatively to Marco, but of course, Marco having such unique abilities that he has, maybe be the more desirable unit as time progresses. I mean, it's hard to say right now. But anyways, I think this is pretty much how the tier list is going to be looking right now. So the main reason why I kind of added this additional top 5 tier is because like tier 1 was getting super cluttered with so many good units, and the thing is a lot of these units are around that same power level. So I wanted to kind of just distinguish, yeah, I think these are the top 5 best units, and then you've got like these other characters which I think are slightly better than the tier 1 characters. I mean, you could extend tier 0 to include like the next 5 best characters here as well, with Kid, Luffy, Kaido, Capone crew, and also Wano Law. You could potentially put Shirohoshi Manchuri V2 up in that next tier. I think this unit deservingly could be a top 5 best unit in the game when you really think about it. But I think all in all, I'm relatively happy with this list, and I do think, and I stand by Moria being one of the top 5 best units in the game, at least right now. Progressively, as time progresses, of course, that could obviously change, but currently, I think this unit is so good. And of course, moving on into the next month, what we should be expecting, as I said a little earlier, Germa should be releasing with a 6+, which is definitely going to buff this unit and move them on up a little bit higher into this tier list. We're also going to be receiving the brand new Sanji Legend that should be arriving in the Treasure Map Sugo Fest. And then towards the end of the month, we should be getting King and Queen. And King and Queen are definitely going to shuffle things up once again, because those units are insane. Do I think you should pull on the King and Queen Sugo Fest? Absolutely not. I don't think that's a very wise decision considering what we should be expecting for their Sugo Fest. But are those units good? Of course they are. They are so incredibly powerful. But I think this is going to wrap this one up today. I thank you guys so much for watching this one, and if you guys did enjoy this tier list video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.